humans. Welcome once again to another episode of Red Seal Roundup.
Yes.
Here at Red Seal Gaming.
Episode 15.
Episode 15, an odd number, which I'm not fond of, but, you know, these things happen.
Yes.
So we'll get right into
we did the number thing last week. I was like the odds, evens,
Yes.
the perils of.
Yeah, well, I'm a numbers guy, and I like even numbers because everybody gets a share. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's why, because I like to share to all. I like all to partake in the river.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay. Episode 15.
I still got Battlefield in my head, which we'll talk to about later.
Yes. Yeah, we got a bunch of crazy topics just to discuss today.
A heated discussion beforehand. We were laying the groundwork
For the end conversation.
for this episode.
Yes. We'll get to that in due time. Let's see. What are we? Some rumors, webs, deceits.
Deceits.
Nice
Deceits?
segue. So we had seen last week that their new Dragonlance novel by the authors, was it Hickman and
Weiss.
Weiss.
I'm sorry, Weiss and Hickman.
Yes. They're called The Dragons of Deceit, has a release date of August 9th of 2022.
Which is pretty.
Which is coming up,
Interesting news.
which is close.
Yeah.
So I've decided personally, I never read the Dragonlance novels. I'm going to,
Blasphemy.
when that comes out, well, Forgotten Realms is
I know. It's
the one and only.
I agree. Well,
Well, you know what it was to me?
it's number one.
Dragonlance ended.
And then you
Forgotten
got
Realms
it.
never ended. So it was just
I
like
think-
open-ended
I
story.
also
I'm
think that was a bit of a generational thing for you. I'm slightly older.
slightly.
What? Don't wipe that smile over your face. I am slightly older than most in the
yes.
store, and Dragonlance was my first introduction into D&D, other than like Choose Your Own Adventures when I was a kid, whatever. Like
And-
full on New York Times bestselling.
Yes, and for all intents and purposes, I think it was released before any of the Forgotten Realms, even though the setting in the world might have been, it was the new after Dragonlance being the established.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
me, myself, personally, I've decided to go back. I'm going to buy the omnibus, and I'm going to read those Dragonlance books into Dragons of Deceit.
Okay.
Instead of going back to Ari Salvatore, because I want my Ari Salvatore books to kind of, log jam back up.
Yeah, no, just wait.
I want to go back when there's like...
Because once you start burning that log, it burns fast.
Yes.
So.
I don't know if I'm going to go into all the other Dragonlance.
Yeah, there's a lot of tertiary,
tributaries.
small story. I mean, you might get... What's the... I mean, you
Well,
could go deep, dude. The Legend of Huma. Unbelievable story. This is like early Dragon... This is before the... It's like a prequel. Yeah.
I'm going to... Whatever the Dragons of Deceit will kind of be, I think it's the sequel of the main path story. I'll go main path into Dragons and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Anything Dragons of is basically what you should read.
Yeah, there was all like autumn and those are the seasons, right? So that's pretty cool. Last we had heard too also that Wizidz was announcing that they're making a full-sized Loth mini.
Yes.
Pretty impressive.
Can you call full size and mini? And isn't that like an oxymoron?
It's like jumbo shrimp,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
She's a a jumbo demon. That miniature looks pretty cool. I don't think we have an image of her, but she's going to fit into that whole, large, opposing monster on the field. Which is weird because, like, when do you ever? To me, it's always like. Now, mind you, her release is not for a D&D release. It's for Magic.
For Magic,
which is weird. So, like, those Wizidz minis are pointing for the Forgotten Realms release.
Well, we also have. I mean, we'll have in the store. I think next week, as a matter of fact, the Tiamat.
The full size.
The full size Tiamat.
Yeah. Which is going to be paltry in
comparison
to the old one, right?
Yeah.
Because this one's based on the grid size that you would have it on the board if you fought it, right?
Yeah, basically you put it on the table and there's nothing else on the table. That's how big she is.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, you have to be on like the football field.
You have to play in the store. It's the only way.
And where you're fighting her in world has to be a football field because what is she going to be in like a...
Yeah, she's not just...
60 by 60. I'm like...
She's not just creeping around a dungeon. No.
5-foot step. Oh, where we go.
Yeah, that's not happening.
All her breath weapons dead.
Yeah.
So the Wizidz mini, if you see it online, that mini looks impressive. It's funny though because it is the portrayal of her from Magic, so she's got like some more appendages. It's the artwork from the Magic card for her. So she's way more
from head to torso. She's definitely way more human.
She has more smaller arms, which is a little disconcerting. Like lower lower spider and then
almost like centipede type arms on the lower torso is kind of creepy.
She's less centaur, spider-tor.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Spider-tor?
Spider-tor.
Drider.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just cutting off at her torso. It's more. They've added some more
Appendages.
Yeah, and that always scares me.
It's creepy.
Yes, very.
But it's supposed to be. She's the demon queen of spiders. It's supposed to be creepy.
True. Yes. That's been a complaint I've read from people.
But yet still attractive.
Yes. Well, it's like the allure of I'm going to lure you into my web through beauty. Great.
Very Slaneshi.
Yes. What else do we have in news? Oh, the day we're recording this is Life Day. So happy Life Day.
So all the Wookiees out there.
Yes, the Wookiees. I did a little research into this because it's Life Day. And it's the day after my birthday, which I found. So I didn't know that was like right on the cusp of my birthday. It's the Wookiee celebration of family, harmony, and joy. And then in the lore of Star Wars, after the fall of the Empire, a lot of other cultures made their own versions of Life Day.
To celebrate the death of an empire.
Which it came back, so don't worry. Never goes away. It never goes away.
Sorry, I had to throw that in.
That's okay. That's all right. It's my digs, my little digs.
Right.
Don't worry, buddy.
Sorry, I know it's okay.
You're all good.
Don't worry.
He's taken, yes.
Evil always comes back.
Yes. So we'll get back into Life Day in a second because a little other Star Wars news. So when last episode of the Red Seal Roundup, we never got the Obi-Wan trailer. So like the Disney Plus Day was very dominated by Marvel. They gave us a ton of Marvel stuff to chew on and enjoy.
And it wasn't even like a full-on trailer. It was kind of like it's coming.
Yeah, they did.
They had like the actors on and talking about it.
Yeah, well, it was weird too because like I couldn't find it on anywhere. Like it wasn't like it was a Twitch stream. So I'm like, where's this information coming? Twitter, I would get like, here's the She-Hulk trailer. And then the first one was wrong. Someone posted the fan-made concepts, which had nothing to do with it. And then like it took 2 hours later, I'm like, to my wife, I go, there is a She-Hulk, snippet trailer.
It's on Disney Plus. They actually put it up later.
Yeah, but there wasn't like an event. Like coming up this weekend, which will bring up this conversation, is D23. So D23 event is going to be from November 19th to the 21st, and that's going to be showcasing a bunch of other Disney stuff, right? So everybody's hoping that is dominated by Star Wars, that way we'll get the Obi-Wan trailer this weekend, and all the other announcements that have to deal with Star Wars. But last week, it was just pretty much Marvel little snippets and stuff.
It was 90% Marvel.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah,
Not that I have a problem with that.
There was zero Star Wars.
Zero, yeah.
So everybody's hoping that this weekend we do get the Obi-Wan trailer. There was more info came out about Patty Jenkins we talked about last week. It wasn't scheduling issues. She left the production because of creative differences.
Oh, so she's done?
She's gone. Yeah, Rogue Squadron is pretty much dead in the water. It's not going to happen.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. So, it's what I think...
I didn't even know that before we talked about the show today.
No, yeah. So, I think what directors find out is that... Which, this is how I feel about this, is a director comes in, I'd love to make a Star Wars movie. They come to Lucasfilm, and then they want to make a Star Wars movie. And don't get me wrong, there's always meddling from the higher-ups. But I think Star Wars... because there's so much canonical stuff, someone who might not necessarily be a diehard Star Wars fan has to sit down with the committee and said, all right, these are the things you want to do, but you can't do this because this would destroy this particular part of lore.
You can't kill this character. You can't make that chip happen, and you can't do this.
Yeah, you can't put this in this time frame because this wouldn't have happened. And there's a lot of lore, canonical story group crap that's got to go on with Star Wars. That's what I love about Star Wars. Unlike other properties, you could do what you want, and people don't care about how it fits in. So maybe what she wanted to do
didn't fit.
Not that it didn't fit or didn't, because they had supposedly had a script already written. They were in pre-production. So there's that idea of when does that go sour? Do you sit down? Do they start filming it and then things don't work? Or like, is there, because if the script's already written, it's gotten past that, you would assume, I don't know how the movie industry works. Must be a lot of going back and forth on scripts.
Maybe she didn't like the script.
Well, she's the one who made the script.
But maybe she didn't like the changes. Like when the red pen hits the script, then she's like, whoa, wait, that changes everything I wanted to do.
Yes. So, and I think and my vision, once again, you're an artist telling them like, don't hold your brush like that. Don't put the paint on the palette like that. That's kind of tough. So I understand that being like an artist wants to, this is my vision, I want to do it. But I think that's also why there's mainstream movies that are like, you want to watch, Shawshank Redemption. Great, there's your palette. You could do what you want, but like the constricting things of
Well-
Marvel and Star Wars and things that have this tapestry.
Yeah. Well, original story, placing it in something that has canon already, it's like building Legos, right? You're taking a square peg,
Yeah,
and they have round holes only. And they're like,
there's-
well, you listen, we don't take square pegs here.
Yeah, and there's an instruction manual, right?
Yeah,
Like that. You
it's
don't
gotta
go,
be, yeah.
I throw it out and do my own thing.
Yeah, it's
so
very
like,
hard.
Hollywood has plenty of room, I feel, to do that. If you're a director and you want to make your homage to whatever you want, it's there. But I think once you've like, I'd love to make a Star Wars film and do this, I think you have to be on board to be able to work with teams and understand that your vision is going to have to fit.
It happens. I mean, sometimes it's the birth of an IP. Going into video games, World of Warcraft, they originally went to Games Workshop and said, hey, we want to take your IP and put it into a PC. And they said, okay, what's your idea? And they pitched the whole idea. And then GW comes in with the red pen and says, you can't do this and you can't do that. It's the whole, we have a way we do things.
Yeah.
And then they said, okay, we're not doing it that way because we don't want to do it. And then, boom, they created their own thing.
Yes.
So I don't think she can do that because she wanted to build a pilot X-Wing movie.
Yeah, which can easily work in Star Wars. I mean, we our X-Wing players know that a large portion of what Star Wars is the space combats and that kind of. And you would want to see, the story of older Wedge or elite pilots rising up in the ranks.
Well, where do they like? We know the Empire has an academy. We talk about it or whatever. Where do they come from? Are they like?
They're mostly defectors, people that left the academy disenfranchised.
Or they learned they were like freighter pilots, something like that.
I mean, where did World War II pilots come from? Those guys didn't go to academies. Those guys were dusting crops, literally in the Midwest. And they're like, wow, you could fly you fly by the tail of your pants, whatever they call it, the seat of your pants.
Let's put you in a Mustang and see what happens.
So like it fits there. So, but it's maybe where the time frame of where they wanted to put it. Maybe they have plans down the road for things, and it has to fit into, like you said, those square pegs. So anyway, as of right now, Rogue Squadron's dead in the water. Patty Jenkins has moved on. People are upset, like it's another movie you announced and then you can't, commit to. And I'm like, that would have sucked 6, 7, 8 years ago. We have TV now. Yeah. Like you have Disney Plus, so all the you announced a movie, great, fine. I got 5, 6 shows coming. That's more than enough.
And I've always been an advocate of, which is why I always liked Star Trek better than Star Wars because there was more TV and it just gave me more.
Yeah,
just give me more. I don't want to wait 9 years for a movie. Give me more on TV.
Yeah, Zach said it. More is more.
More is more.
More is more. And so once again, going back to D23, it's this weekend. When you're watching it on Saturday, we might have already heard. Future Sal will be maybe jumping in his chair, happy. But yeah, so that I'm kind of excited for. Hopefully there's a lot of other announcements of like the Acolyte and a few other shows, but we'll get there. In other Star Wars news, we finished the tournament at the store, our first X-Wing Red Steel Gaming tournament. Winner was Tom Traz with his droid swarm. Dude,
watching him fly that swarm was just a piece of engineering.
Yes. And it makes me, that whole separatist get me so angry because the way that flies is how a TIE swarm should work.
And it doesn't. Yeah.
And it doesn't because
it's like they got it better the second time.
They just share everything. It's just so like it has a military efficiency to it. Albeit droids, but
I was watching them fly
frustrating
the whole day. I would always go back to I don't like to get right on top of them. I don't want to because when you're on a table, it gets it gets a little warm, gets a little sweaty. Yeah, which I get.
And it was the final table.
But I was lurking and watching, and I couldn't help but admire the control over that many ships.
Yeah, you got to know where they're you got to be You got to know what you're doing with a swarm, and especially a vulture swarm, a separatist swarm. Shout out to Caleb too. So Caleb was our second place winner. So he's and which is awesome because he's one of our newer players that has learned the game in the past.
Basically like a rookie pilot, placed pretty high, which is great.
At the final table, it's always awesome. So congratulations. That was a lot of fun. I think everybody had a good time.
It was a great event. Yeah. K-Toff wasn't even playing. He was just like...
K-Toff was, him and Zach really organized that and stuff. They did a great job. Shout out to you guys.
Zach was playing. He did fairly well. The prize support was great. Everybody got to pick their cards.
Yes.
We threw in the sabak. We threw in the chance cubes.
Donated some smugglers gambling kit.
It was just a good time. And K-Toff was running it, and I've never seen so many excited while he wasn't playing.
Yes, yes, yes.
He just kept saying, "This is great. This is great.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun.
We had
this is great."
we did have the side conversation. I'm like, see, K-Top, Chris, this is why the Empire, the efficiency. Because when you listen to me, I love the Empire, not because I love the white armor. I love the Empire because when you're a manager or you're a boss or you're a parent, you run your house like the Empire.
And I can appreciate
And you have to
that.
run your store and the tournaments like the Empire. You can't run it like the Rebels and the Resistance because it doesn't work.
You can't.
I'll show up 5 minutes late. I'm not dressed.
No.
That's real rebel crap. You know what I mean?
It's very military.
So yes,
It's
I
very
told
military.
K-Top, we go, you gotta get out your Grand Moff hat here and crack the whip.
I think
and he had to.
He did.
He did it great. So
But
it was a lot of fun.
he did it with a smile on his face.
Yes, yeah. Baron complains his voice was getting too loud. I don't think it was loud enough.
Yes.
K-Top, so good. Anyway, just excellent. First, we're gonna have hopefully got more coming. We're gonna do a bunch more.
And Baron was in top 8 again, by the way.
Yes. Well, we had a good turnout. So the next ones we're gonna start. Hopefully, we're gonna open them up outside the boundaries of the store.
Go a little more regional, maybe like the Northeast, see who shows up.
Well, there's people in New York and Southern Jersey stuff that if they see it, they'll come. So hopefully we'll expand it to that. And then our league, our in-store league is ending. We're going to start up after the holidays and stuff. We'll announce the winner of the league in the store.
Which should be good because with so many people getting more comfortable with the game, we'll probably even have more entries into the league when we start again in January.
Yes, yeah, and better prize support we can do once you have more attendees.
And truthfully, I think I will be throwing my hat into the ring now that people have gotten comfortable.
Oh,
I've been,
here comes the
brobots.
Brobots.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna mess with Scum and Villainy.
Joey and Vinny.
Joey and Vinny will be on the table at least once.
That's funny. That's
at least once.
Yeah. So there's that. So thank you for all attendees. We had a lot of fun. Getting back to Life Day really quick. I just wanted to mention. So Life Day, the story of Life Day comes from the worst of Star Wars, is the holiday special. So. 1978. It's in between. It was that release between after A New Hope and Before Empire Strikes Back.
It looked worse than like public television.
Well, yeah. So I don't remember. So I was 5 when that was released, and it was released obviously today. It was November 17th. The day it was released. So it's right before Thanksgiving. In the era of that era,
basically it was like, can Chewie make it home for Christmas?
I think, yeah. So that the plot line is they're trying now. Mind you, the plot line is it's post the first Death Star blowing up. So the rebels, the Empire is cracking down on looking for rebels because now it's an issue, right? You blew up our Death Star. So Han is trying to get Chewie back to home to see his family for Life Day, and they're trying to run a blockade and stuff, blah blah. But it's the era of so from a standpoint of the era of TV, it's almost fascinating if you're a film major or if you have any interest in film and TV in any way, just understanding that was put on TV as a variety show, which no one today knows what the F a variety show is.
It looked like a bad episode of The Muppets.
Yes, which honestly,
which was a variety show.
Which was a variety show. Like they don't exist anymore. So understanding what TV was trying to give your watchers back then.
I mean, the closest thing we have to that now is like late night talk show. Every now and then, like if they do a skit on late night talk show,
but
that's like for
Johnny Carson, like that existed too. But the idea of like Sonny and Cher, if you even know who they are, Johnny Cash, they should just get on TV and like have their variety show. We're gonna play a few songs for you tonight, and then do skits. And it was like such a
Captain and Tennille, Ed Sullivan,
the
going all the way
Osmonds.
back, the Osmonds, Donnie Marie. Yeah.
So I remember I was 5 when that aired. I was vaguely remember only the very ending of the Star Wars special, and it was years later going back and watching it. Maybe I sparked a brain cell because I was 5 when that did release. But because it was, remember too, is there's only how many channels on television?
5.
So if that's on prime time at night,
2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13.
Yeah, so
seven channels.
So most likely when I was 5,
in the New York area anyway,
it was on TV because it was either. And my parents didn't know anything about Star Wars, but like it would have been on TV. It was probably something that someone would have put on because there was nothing else on. There wasn't like 300 channels. So I went back and did some research on Life Day and stuff, and it was funny. Some of the people back then writing their comments about their reviews.
Okay.
So one of them was it was the worst 2 hours of television I've ever seen. One guy mentioned that it was bubblegum for the brain. which I'm assuming back then that was bad just to be chewing and chewing and chewing. The best one, I actually had to write this one down, is I'm not convinced the special wasn't ultimately written and directed by a sentient bag of cocaine. And
I never heard that one.
That was on the wiki, and I got to write that down. Because when you do watch it, I mean, Phil, you have that picture of the Life Day ending, which is, you know, you see Mark Hamill has horrible makeup. When you see his close-ups, he sings like a ditty or a little song. If you notice too, is Chewbacca.
The head is like
they couldn't afford probably the rest of the costume, so that's. It might not even be Peter Mayhew for all we know. If it is, probably they didn't use the body, so it's just his normal shoulders with the head on.
It looks like a bad GW mini from the 80s.
And Carrie Fisher in that scene is the highest I've ever seen a human being sing a song. Of 70s and cocaine and all the other stuff. She looks like. Once again, something to go watch and back.
Don't zoom in, Phil. It just makes it worse.
I mean, Harrison Ford's like, how the fuck do I get out of here? He's never watched it, so like he's been interviewed.
He never watched it?
He's interviewed later on in life. He said he's never even watched it. Mark Hamill's only watched certain parts of it. Carrie Fisher, at the time when she was alive, told she made George Lucas give her a copy so she could play it during parties to make people leave.
Really?
So if she wanted to keep people out of the house, she would just put the Christmas special on,
and then they would leave.
Everybody ran the fuck out. So really interesting that
that was probably the darkest day in Star Wars history, right there.
Yeah, and honestly, George Lucas didn't really have a lot to do with it. It was part of his contractual agreement, I think, with
the studio.
The studio to get it distributed. You got to do a holiday TV special because that's what they did back then.
Imagine if you hear all the hype about Star Wars and you want to check it out, and you're like, you know what? They're having this special on TV. Let me watch it. See what what's all the hubbub.
Man, it's tough.
And then you watch that, and you wonder why so many people don't like Star Wars.
It's tough, and it's funny too. Up to that point, it was the only portrayal of Kashyyyk. They actually had drawn pictures by famous artist, and I'm going to butcher that name right now. It's only his sketchwork of Kashyyyk in the trees and stuff. Really interesting. And then this is the first time we got to see Boba Fett. So the Boba Fett animated part, which is pretty much the highlight of the whole thing. People were like, this was the groundbreaking moment. You get to see Boba Fett for the first time. And the animation, classic 70s animation. It's really good.
Really, yeah.
So, that's
just, it's difficult to look at, and it's a still from the show.
Yeah.
It's still difficult to look at.
But it's the worst of Star Wars that's become epic. Because it's so bad. So like, it's funny how something's so bad, you just become so good. A lot of things have done that.
Original Star Trek.
Yeah. I mean, Dune.
If you go back and watch it
the Dune movie was a complete and utter flop. And then that movie became a cult classic. So something that becomes cultish is because you just have to sit and watch this. It's so bad.
Dumpster fire.
Yeah, and this was a complete dumpster fire.
Might be the first official dumpster fire on TV.
Yeah, because there's some.
Just watch it burn because it's just fun to watch.
Yeah, it is for all you young generation guys, definitely to see what the 70s generational people wanted to see on TV. This is what the studios thought that if we we'll give the variety show, the Star Wars variety show. This is what people like to sit down and watch.
Just watch it for 5 minutes.
And
you'll know.
Just the whole goddamn
thing.
I mean,
if you could watch if you can tolerate that.
Dude, there's some like floating, what do you call it? Acrobatics with all these people in like tights and like 70s glitter.
I definitely don't condone drug use, but that might be the only way to get through the whole thing.
Or really just get really drunk because
get drunk.
It's crazy. But yeah, so today,
Life Day.
Today's Life Day. Happy Life Day.
Happy Life Day.
And other news, we were going to talk about.
You got GW stuff.
Oh yeah, there's some GW's rumors you found.
Yes, I was watching one of the many YouTube guys that talk about leaks and releases, and the information that came out from him was actually pretty viable because he has given out information before.
Yeah.
And I think it might be Hastings again.
Okay.
So, and he's been pretty much like 90% correct in what's been coming up. We got the Astartes again. We know that they're coming. We have the...
and we had a delay, right?
We had a delay.
Yeah. The coming...
They made an announcement about
coming next year GIF, whatever it was, picture.
Yeah, December 21 is going to be the box set, which is called Shadow Throne. And then they delayed the Gene Serial Cult and the Adeptus Custardes book to 2022.
The one with the picture. That one, yes.
That one.
Yeah, so we're going to get that box set for Gene Stealer Cults and Custodes before the end of the year. But once again, early. It's not January. It's not February. It's not March.
I know.
It's early.
It's been difficult. And then we also got a list of leaks from which we think is Hastings.
Before you bring that up, though, but the idea of the early 2022, I did hear someone mention in Discord, we were talking about that the UK publishing thing that they were using got closed down, and now all productions moved over to China. Hence why now we're waiting for the Chinese production of these books to come overseas and stuff.
Then the shipping and all those delays that incur.
Yeah. And if it's got to come to the UK first with their Brexit stuff to get in to go out again.
I don't even know how that works.
Does it go right from China? Do they ship it overseas to Tennessee?
I think
they distribute it?
I think normally that's the case, but with what happened this time, that it got in the middle of being produced, we might even get some books from one and some from the other.
Which worries me more for the Age of Sigmar, because we're only getting one book from Age of Sigmar, which is supposed to be December from Agakin.
Which means
maybe there was more, and because of this, now they're like, don't even mention that. We can't mention it because it's going to be, you're talking second quarter of 2022. So we'll see. But anyway,
expect delays with everything that we do. That's the bottom line.
Yes.
And then the list from Hastings, Phil, if you could pull that up for us. There you
Yes.
go. So now this guy has been like 90% accurate. So the first thing he's saying in January that we're going to see a Tau Codex with
the Dark Strider is
Dark Strider.
So I actually, there was a silhouette now to confirm somewhat. There's a silhouette that GW put up recently on the community site, and it mentioned, I don't know if it mentioned Dark Strider in the wording, and the fact that they're saying that a new one's coming,
and then we see this again.
Yeah, I went back to the GW site, and the Dark Strider mini is just like it's just a helmetless Tau.
Yeah,
obviously they're gonna make a more impressive mini.
Very, very old. So
yeah, it's old.
Tau getting reworked is good, but then the big one, plenty of new kits for 9th edition, is the Chaos Space Marines.
Yes, they said 2022 was going to be the year of Chaos.
And we're looking at Possessed, Bikers, Chosen. Warpsmith, Cultists, Renegade Guard, Human Mutants, Possessed Humans, more Cultists,
Sandberg,
and character with bodyguards.
So interesting. Regular Possessed, their kit's really old. There was Greater Possessed that can't only come in the Combat Patrol. They never released them on their own. What's the other one? Bikers are old. Yeah. Chosen only came in 7th edition box set, and they weren't multi-kit.
So you're looking at 6 years old.
Yeah.
And then all the cultists. I mean, where are the original cultists from? How old are those?
Really old.
They got to be like 15 years old.
Yeah, because then they came out with cultists in Blackstone Fortress, which I heard a lot of the reboxings. So the cultist is going to be a lot of Blackstone Fortress style Traitor Guardsmen and cultists.
Which is great because they were definitely more characterful.
Yeah, I mean, now you're getting a whole faction release. I mean, if you notice there's no mention of a lot of real Chaos Space Marine stuff besides the Warpsmith
that's a lot of
and the
minis
Chosen
for a release. Like we haven't seen that many minis for a release since maybe
Necrons.
The original Necrons and Space Marines.
Necrons, yeah. Human Mutants. I heard the Possessed Humans are like crazy. Like it says here, think of Greater Possessed, but cracked up to 11. Those men are gonna be crazy. And then like a Standard Bearer. So a lot of like cultist, which is funny, makes me laugh because GW nerfed cultists in the last edition 8th because you didn't. Why would you run Chaos Space Marines when you can run 30 cultists? They did a better job. Now you're gonna push cultists. Power creep. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, with the book coming out, maybe they're gonna buff them again.
Or make that a viable only army.
Like a full-on cultist army.
You could make a renegade,
maybe led by
Astra Militarum.
Maybe led by one unit of
Well, you bring a chosen guy; they do their job, but like you have and then there's a Chaos Knights, which a new kit supposed to be coming out.
It's just a new variant.
Yeah,
though.
But it would be in between the full size variants and the Armigers.
But it is also saying that the Codex is coming too.
Yes, more Year of Chaos.
More Year of Chaos. Then we got some Eldar info. Now it says a massive but incomplete update for Eldar. Who knows what that means? the word massive is they need a massive update.
They're
is what
really
need.
old.
They
They're
are
really,
ancient.
really old.
They are really old models.
Your nephew Eric will be very happy.
Yeah, Eric's trying to sort out some old minis, and you could see them. They look dated, especially when you put them next to the new stuff on the table. That's when you really see it. It's one thing you see the Army standing by itself. It looks good because they're all of similar style and design. But once you put them on the table next to the new Primera stuff, they just look really, really old.
What we like to say, old and busted.
Yes. And then, without a specific date, there's a couple other mentions. I'm going to skip over the first word. We're going to talk about, we got World Eaters, we got Demons, we got Astra Militarum.
Yep.
And with a bunch of new vehicles and new regiments. But
Baneblade 2, it says there.
but I want to shout out to our buddy Minion,
Nick Gold.
the golden one. They have reset the squat timer.
Squat timer's been reset.
Yes. So there is a mention of squats again in the pipeline. Now, we have a couple already because they showed up in Necromunda. So this is definitely different than any other reset of the timer that we've had before.
There is a lot of rumor engine snippets, like little pictures that are like
gear.
People don't know, like, where does this? Could this be Gene Stealer cults? Could this be AdMech?
Yeah, it's like a little backpack, but it could be squat
like
slash dwarfish.
There's like a metal foot, and it's like that's not a Terminator foot. That's not like a Gravis armor foot. It's like people are like, what could that be?
It could be a squat foot.
Squats.
Squats.
I don't know how I feel about squats, but.
It's been a long, too. We're talking 80s? Was it 80s or 90s was the last time?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember.
Rogue Trader book?
Yeah.
I think, you know, you know what?
Maybe some White Dwarf afterwards, like a little bit update here. It's been forever.
Yeah.
Right? So to see them come back would be nice.
If you get squats before you get dwarves back in Age of Sigmar, that's rough.
I don't know how I feel about that. I just have to go for hardcore on the squats.
It's not that there's, there's no dwarves in.
All I want to see is this hanging from a squat belt, and I'm okay.
Yeah, with like a little like a instead of a power mace, it's a power tankard.
A power tankard, that would be nice. Or Yeah,
if you're gonna hit someone, hit
a
them with a
little power hammer instead of a full-on thunder hammer, just a little, one-handed thunder hammer.
Yeah, you could dual wield the tankard and the
And
power
a
hammer.
I'm set.
Hell yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah, so hopefully now once again with the pushbacks, who knows when this is?
Oh yeah,
you don't know. This could be December of next year. No, I'm kidding.
It could be. Well, we'll see. We'll be talking about it, and maybe we should put a little timer up in the background that the squat timer.
The squat timer's on.
The squat timer
Wasn't there another? Do we have another picture with rumors? Was there? Was there another list? There was other vertical list there. You got right. Talking to Phil behind the scenes.
The man behind the camera. We have we have the magic news is what we have for the store. That's the other list.
Oh, okay. That was the.
That was the
your allotment.
My allotment has thanks to participation, and event link and people using the app in the store, which is I've been preaching because they've been preaching me to do it. That the store has been increased in its allocation numbers for pre-release for the Kamigawa set that's on its way.
That's the Cyberpunk.
That's the official email from WotC stating that we are getting this many cases and so on and so forth. Baseline's 45, growth is 30, which gives us a guaranteed 75 pre-release kits for the Kamigawa set.
Those come directly from WotC? You don't buy them from...
Well, I get them from the distributor, but they are assigned by WotC. WotC tells the distributor how many we're allowed to buy.
So you're guaranteed those?
I'm guaranteed those. Those are the guaranteed.
Otherwise, we come after the BL?
Yes, then otherwise we just string them up. But cool. I actually have emailed them to try to increase this number. I sent them a nice, polite, and friendly email saying that 75 is welcomed, and I'm glad that they gave me more than we had, but they still not understanding that the store has tripled in size, and I have plenty of seating, and we need, I want it to be pre-release week and not pre-release weekend. Basically, I've run out of kits by Sunday, and then the whole rest of the week, I got more people coming in. Hey, you got any pre-release? We don't have it, and I would love to have events all week long.
Up to the main release.
Well, because people work. People can't always make the weekend. Some people still aren't into coming into the store. They want to do pre-release at home. I don't even have enough kits to do that. I would like nothing better than, a group of friends comes in, they're only comfortable playing with themselves at home.
Yeah, we're going to go play at home. We can buy a bunch of kits.
Here's like 4 or 5 kits. Go home and play with them. People just come in. They want to buy a kit because they don't have time. It's your first look at the cards. That's what pre-release is all about. We want to get it to as many people as possible. I see no reason why they couldn't sell this like 200 or 300. I think I could easily move them over the course of the week and have events and just have more people engaged. And the more people that engage, you know how it is in the
Now,
store.
you raise that number by recorded events and say, hey, we had this many recorded events. And
That's how they're doing it. They're doing it by recorded events. But my argument was I can only have so many recorded events based on how much you gave me pre-release this set. Now, this set, they gave me 45. We blew through those kits instantaneously. As soon as I posted it on Discord for the signups, they were gone in like 2.7 seconds. They were gone. And then there was like twice as many people
in a waiting list.
On the waiting list, hoping that people dropped. Now, people do drop because they just want to get into the event, hoping they can make it, and then, life gets in the way and they have to do things. But those people, anybody who expressed interest in signing up for an event, that's a kit. Whether they come to the store and use it or whether they want to come in and buy it and go home. Those are all kits. So between the 45 or so that we had that instantly gone and were used in the store, and then another 40 to 50 that were on Discord hoping to get into an event. Those are all people that would buy kits. Plus all the walk-ins of, hey, you got a kit? Hey, you got a kit? Hey, you got a kit? That kind of thing. So, and then there were tons of people that don't even sign up because they know it's so crazy. And then they're not even going to get it. So they don't even bother. So if I increased the numbers to 200 or 300, I'm sure the store would just burn right through them.
Get through them.
Yeah.
Well, cool. That's some good news.
Good news on the Magic front. So there's a bunch of other stuff online about Magic. I mean, we could talk about it till we're blue in the face on the day. There's some Secret Layers drops coming out. There's the announcement for the entire year is laid out. We got Kamigawa. We have like a bit of a mafiosis set that we're going to have to talk about next time in the show.
Interesting.
Once I get more info about what's going on with that, it's almost like there's going to be like these 3 families that are 3 colors each, and they're going to have their own keywords. And it's all this. It looks very much like street gangs.
Interesting.
Going on.
It's that's gonna be a regular release.
That's a regular release, yes. And then of course the Lord of the Rings set will be coming out. Then we also have
there's the other D&D set, right? Isn't it like the Modern Masters D&D?
It's not modern. There is another modern set coming out that we know that's coming out. Double Masters, another Double Masters, but the D&D one is actually the next Commander Legends set.
That's right, Commander Legends.
That's going to have Baldur's Gate themed cards as well as all Commander type stuff. But the 2 elephants in the room is probably the 40K stuff that's coming this year, as in 2022, is just Commander decks. So
it's not a set; it's only Commander decks.
It's only Commander decks for the Warhammer one, which is good because some people don't like mixing chocolate and peanut butter.
Yes, well, chocolate peanut butter, maybe some hazelnut. Like this, Cyberpunk's gonna be a little hazelnut spread on there because it's not your.
It's a popular set. It's Kamigawa. But this storyline on this takes place 200 years after the original Kamigawa. So it's going to be weird.
It's like a modern.
It is.
It's a modern take on.
It looks a little cyberpunk. So it reminds me very. The artwork reminds me very much of. I don't remember Netrunner.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like. So, but the other elephant in the room is a full-on standard release, Lord of the Rings.
All right, that's gonna be full standard.
Full standard. Gandalf, Frodo, Gollum. You're going to see everybody.
Black Red Sauron. I'm calling right now.
Yeah, there you go. You're going to see Sauron. You're going to see
the artifact, the ring.
Yeah,
Netrunner.
Yeah, Phil showing some Netrunner. I think he was an old Netrunner fan. I remember him getting into it right before it died. I think, and he's over there shaking his head with that.
But of course,
that smile that he missed out on something. That IP's still out there. Maybe somebody picks it up someday, Phil. Because I was actually interested in it right before it died too. So.
Well, I heard that there was. We got to look that up for next week. I mean, there was some rumblings about Netrunner as a IP getting resurrected somewhere. Maybe not in the LCG format.
I don't know
there was
who
something
owns it right now. I don't know who owns it.
Yeah, it's fallen out of. Mm-hmm. But the Forgotten Realms set. I mean, that's the Lord of the Rings set. That sounds interesting. That's gonna.
How many people? Even just. The 40K set. You're bringing in all these guys that probably watched Magic, but now they can get into it in a Commander format. It's pre-constructed. You don't even have to do anything.
Yeah,
you just play.
Here's my Abaddon deck versus Marnia's Caligar deck.
Yeah, just get your feet wet, see how they do it, and then Lord of the Rings.
Those are all the 40K's all silver bordered, right?
Yeah, that's going to be all silver. I think no, it's not. It's not silver bordered. It's just in Commander.
Okay.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings and Magic. You want to talk about overlap? Those 2 circles overlap very similar to the way D&D and Magic overlap.
Yeah, that has taken this. Well, that's an IP thing. It's taken this long to.
Yeah, it is an
get
IP.
The rights, Yeah,
but the truth is, all of this spawns from Tolkien.
Yeah,
D&D spawns from Tolkien.
Yeah, all our early
Magic
we always talk about
from
early
Tolkien.
Magic is just us, like, from Tolkien stuff. So
Yeah, so to see Tolkien actually get a full-on release with all the characters, they started releasing some of the artwork
that's
already.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool to see.
I wonder how that works when it comes to IP and merchandising and rights, because you would think that FFG has card game rights because they have the LCG, but now you have Magic
Yeah, it's
making, so I wonder if that's
It's not blanket rights anymore. Like, you get the rights to make the board games. You get the right to make card games. You get the rights to make
technically this is another
movies.
card game though. Like, so it's like the bleeding of. I always look at it like EA don't have the rights anymore to just make Star Wars games. It's been bleeding out.
I think they just don't give exclusivity anymore.
Why I never,
And I think it was.
and
a
I never
thing in
understood why you would, because it's if you're making 100 million here,
Yeah.
but there's 5 more games over there. That's
you
another 500 million
Well, I
come from
think-
those
I-
5. So
I think we're in the age where they've learned their lesson, and they don't do that anymore. They, I mean, you hate to say it, but GW seems to whore out their IP everywhere now. They've gone the other extreme.
yeah.
There's 9,000 apps on the phone on Steam. There's some games that people have even heard of on Steam that you can play. They just came out with a new one today.
They just announced
Yeah.
the VR. It's a
Stormcast.
Stormcast VR game.
And it just came out today. I didn't even know it was coming out.
No,
It just came out. Here's another game.
I posted it and I saw it. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, this is a VR game? Because the best part, the title doesn't even say it's a VR game. I had to play it, and like 5 minutes in, I'm going, there's a floating hand, and I'm like, oh wow, this is a VR game.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, that was a discussion we had in the video games channel. Is like, now I understand why. I always complain. I wish there was 20,000 Star Wars games. But maybe then I watch the games that GW's puts out. I'm like, maybe that's why there's only 4, because it's quality over quantity sometimes. And if you want a good game, it's going to take a while to get them out. So you're not going to have as many.
Yeah, you got to find that middle of
It's
the
a happy
road,
medium.
because it gets a bad rep. Like, all these GW games have a bad rep. The only title that anybody ever really talks about with certainty that they liked.
Yeah, Dawn of War and Total War.
Dawn of War was. All right, but we'll say 2, because Dawn of War was good.
And it's
The
40K.
original Dawn of War was fantastic. Space Marine. Space Marine was a AAA title, and that was fun. And I could still go back and play that over and over and over again.
Yeah, Total War, Dawn of War, and I think Space Marine are probably their biggest.
Those are the 3 that have hit.
Yeah.
They're all AAA titles.
Yeah.
Made by big companies. And it just shows you when you give it out to these little companies, it doesn't always succeed.
No. Yeah, especially like they had the big FPS kind of MMO Space Marine game that like tanked. Like it just never.
Yes, uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this VR one is kind of
Eternal Crusade was that one. I think that's one of them. Was called.
maybe there was the one that was supposed to be made that got axed, and another company got it. It's always you'd think it would be easier to make.
Well, you think does Zach's more is more apply to this? Because they've been really bad, some of them.
It's hard,
And they feel like a money grab, and you spend $15 and then you get this game and it sucks and it just disenfranchises you.
yeah. It's video games are tough for more because the production like a good game takes a long while to make.
Yeah.
And obviously there's really only a handful of studios that can tackle a bunch of games. So when you look at Star Wars, because it does have to go through the filtering process probably more than another company does.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then games become canon. Like Jedi Fallen Order is considered canon and everything that's happening.
Yeah, well, because that's, again, the rule book. They have a rule book that
They
applies
have a
to
rule
these
book.
games.
And GW, I heard, has their rule book, like, Space Marine proportions have to be a certain way, and like the original MMO.
It is mostly just appearance, though, and story. You pretty much have.
A little more open range.
Yeah.
The universe is a big place. Any kind of warfront can happen.
Yeah.
But and then with the Mortal Realms and Age of Sigmar, anything can happen. I'm gonna try the VR game just because, like you said, it's some quick exercise, swinging a sword. VR games are never very long. So,
No.
but
I always get my sweat on. We did it in the store I think it was about a month or so
the
ago.
Beat Saber.
Waylon brought in his Oculus,
Yes.
the Facebook one, which is really cool. It's cordless.
I have the Oculus, the first gen one.
Yeah.
And we were doing Vader Immortal.
yes.
And that's a top notch game. Why it's like ILM produced and
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
I've been looking at, after playing with Waylon, and I was playing Super Hot for the first time.
Yeah, oh dude, that's
And this old man was sweating up a storm playing that game.
dude.
man.
I was
I was
oh my-
drenched.
you
I
need-
was drenched.
yeah,
I was drenched.
yeah.
They were laughing at me. I actually punched the rack because I went past the border.
The borders,
yeah. So I think I still have a mark on my head from that.
But
But
yeah.
I got into it. So it's video games are a thing that we do. It's part of gaming. I don't sell it, despite the fact that somebody calls me every day looking for, like
They're looking for GameStop,
looking for a Wii controller or looking for an Xbox controller, or do I have an old Wii cable or whatever it is?
Not at this GameStop.
It's the gaming word that attracts them. Yeah. But the truth is that has actually helped get a couple people in the store. They're like, oh, you sell Magic? Oh, I'll come in for that anyway.
Yeah.
So it does happen.
But speaking of other games too, there was also, they did release, we got some video of the new mobile Star Wars game, Star Wars Hunters.
Yes.
It's kind of like a mashup between, it's like a kind of like a MOBA, and it's almost like not League of Legends, but like it's like Overwatch, small board, characters, timed abilities,
like 5-on-5. Something
yeah,
like
it
that?
looks like it, and there's all like individual characters. There's like a Night Sister with a red lightsaber. There's a Wookiee tank.
Does it have like so is it Overwatch where there's just players, or is it like a mobile like HOTS? Or
No,
League of
it's
Legends?
more like it's like that FPS arena kind
Oh,
of.
so like
It's
HOTS, not HOTS.
it's like Overwatch.
Overwatch. That's the word. That's the game.
It's not as big as say like a Fortnite where it's a battle royale. It's more like team of 4 or 5 versus your team 4 or 5, and the board seems.
So Overwatch or Team Fortress, that kind of game.
Kind of like that.
Okay.
Yes, it has that feel. But once again, it's a mobile Star Wars game, so that's what I really need is to lay in bed before I can't go to sleep, and I'm like,
I already have too much.
And there's no there's
Keeping me awake in bed.
there's no pay to win. Their monetary system is like skins. They actually have a cool one. There's an intro. You could buy special intros, like when your character must log in, you could buy different intros. I thought that was kind of cool. Skins, all like the cosmetic stuff, and nothing that's really gonna make my gun more powerful.
Okay.
So that's interesting. But right now it's only
Which is what they have in Halo.
more or less.
Yeah,
But
and Battlefield.
it's
so.
only released right now, like overseas in Southeast Asia and India.
Okay.
I guess they're testing the market. Not every character is available. And then it's going to be available on the Switch, which is a little better of a platform to
That's a
play
good
on.
platform to do it on.
I have one of those, so I will be trying it out on there. So hopefully, there's a video floating around somewhere of someone on YouTube did pretty much an overview of, it's still an early. It's not completely polished yet, but it looks pretty cool for a mobile game. It's pretty tight, and it's Star Wars. So, and then and also we also got the guys wanted to talk about the Halo Infinities, is it called?
Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite.
Just
came out.
It just came out. The multiplayer is in beta. It is free to play.
Yeah,
so
came
it's
out
available.
A few days ago, the 15th, right? Just came out.
I've already logged.
Oh no, I'm sorry, that's a different date.
I've logged about 10 hours so far. I've actually played with a couple of guys in the store, and it's typical. It's Halo. It reminds me of days of yore, playing in like big arenas with 4-on-4s, capture the flag, oddball.
Yes.
They had big team battles too, which I haven't done yet.
It's funny too
because I like to stay away from vehicles until I get really comfortable with my controls and knowing the weapons.
Yes, it's funny. We were talking about. We had gotten to the conversation. We were talking with Phil and some of the guys online about Halo as a property, and being as old as it is. And it's funny too. I watched some of the videos of this new Halo, and it's in a different marketplace for its competition. So like it's not competing with. Just remember, Halo just used to compete with like the other 1 or 2 FPSs of the era. There's a lot of FPSs out right now, and this is more in competition. Like if you watch like Apex Legends, like those games, those are more like Halo is than it is to any of the Call of Duties and Battlefield. Like those games are completely separate now. There's a lot of like, I don't want to call it generic sci-fi and piss off Phil, but it's the. Like there's high fantasy. In fantasy, I call this is like high sci-fi. Energy weapons. You have big mech armor. I'm not saying Master Chief's in big mech armor, but his armor is it's stylized the way it looks. You look at the other games like Apex Legends and all the stuff that's out now. There's more copies of Halo now than there ever was before, trying to fill the void, waiting for them to make a new game. But once again, you get the diehards. Everybody loved Halo. I love the storyline. They're going back to it. So I've never played Halo, so I will put that out there. We had this discussion.
Yeah, you never played it hardcore. You never did the storyline, which is it's actually a sin that you haven't played the storyline because it's a great story.
It is. But
like if I'm talking, just play the game, not the online.
And the problem with that is though, it's like I'm playing. To play the storyline though, you have to play a game that's like on Atari 2600.
Yeah.
Like to go back, like that's the only thing that sucks about games that are old that have continued a story. I don't think I could sit through Halo 1. I looked at the date, November 15, 2001. I don't.
It's not that bad. I would be honest with you. I know what you're saying. Like go if we went back and played like Dark Forces.
I tried and I shut it off.
You shut it off.
I did 5 seconds.
The original Halo, you can play it on your PC and you will enjoy it because the storyline is that good, and the weapons are cool. I think you could. If you ever got the hankering to play an FPS and play a storyline, I would definitely give Halo a shot because the storyline is fantastic.
Yeah,
better than the Destiny storyline.
Yeah, and it's newer.
Yeah, and like Battlefield, they almost never give us single player whenever Battlefields come out.
For Battlefields, no. The Call of Duties have kept up a storyline, but Battlefield was always
Call of Duty is good.
Here's your big arena battles, but there's no room for story in reality.
Call of Duty has great storyline. Battlefield is always just about the multiplayer. Yeah. That's what it's about.
But I always run into the problem with Halo is Halo has the nostalgia weight around its foot.
Oh yeah.
Like, like those games when it's story driven, it's not a new story. You're dragging whoever played that in 2001, like you're dragging that community with you because I just want to play it I want to know what's going on with Master Chief. Like, like nostalgia is, it's hard to go back. Like as good as a story is, sometimes it's just like trudging through all of that. Sometimes is the barrier. Yeah. It's the barrier to entry in any game, like we talk about all the time. Sometimes the barrier to entry is too strong to even start on.
Yeah. If you want to get into that scene, and they're also, they are very defensive about, which one they like and which one they don't like. I play all FPSs. I've played everything. I've played Call of Duty. I've played Battlefields. I think there's room for all of them. Halo multiplayer is very arcade-like to me. And also it was like the beginning of that competitiveness that came out with,
the genre.
Yeah. Because before that, it was FPSs. I mean, we played Wolfenstein. We played Doom. Yes. We played Quake.
We had this argument before the podcast. We were arguing about the, PC generation, console generation. I mean, for me personally, the reason I never played Halo wasn't because I didn't necessarily like the game. I don't think the aesthetic ever drew me in, first off and foremost. That aesthetic was not... but I always heard people love the story so much. But I was like, I never went there, because I was always a PlayStation owner.
As was I.
I didn't own an Xbox. And then I really didn't play a lot of games on the PlayStation because I was playing them on the computer. So like
Halo didn't get released on the PC until after like Halo 3.
Forever.
Yeah.
So I went back and looked in my personal history of games I was playing. If Halo, November 15, 2001 was the first Halo, it was 1995 was Dark Forces on a PC, Star Wars.
We would play that to the wee hours of the morning.
It was 1997 was Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight, which Kyle Katarn brought all that awesome. From Dark Forces, he was getting dragged into becoming a Jedi.
Again, PC.
PC. The expansion was Jedi Knight, Mysteries of the Sith, brought in Sith PC.
PC.
Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, which was the pod racer game. I might have played that on Nintendo 64 or something. That was 1999. I definitely burnt hours into that. 2003 was Jedi Academy, was like the final in,
PC.
Yeah. And then 2004 was the first Star Wars Battlefront ever. A year later was Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's before we've gotten any of the modern ones. So that was pretty much a decade of me locked in Star Wars games where I never looked at
anything else. Yeah. And we were PC guys.
Yes.
We were always PC guys. The only console I ever dabbled in, and I say dabble, but I've owned every one, including the 5 now, was PlayStation. I've owned every console. I pretty much got it at release date. As soon as it came out, I went to the hype.
Yeah, I've only had two.
The only time I had a problem was with the 5 because it was just so crazy.
Yeah,
with the 5. And I eventually did get one, but
there's not a lot of titles yet. I think it's still
early.
We're waiting for the bigger avalanche to come.
The only reason I went hardcore for it is because I wanted the Final Fantasy remake on the 5. Even though I played it on the 4 already, but I'm everybody's got what they like. I'm a Final Fantasy guy. So,
but talking about why the Halo 2 didn't have the Xbox, and to me, Halo was what Microsoft needed a game.
Oh yeah.
That was going to be their flagship game. And Master Chief is a space marine in my eyes, right? So he's a genetically engineered human that's not a regular human, that is a super soldier. So another deterrent for me personally was he's essentially a
Primarch.
Once again,
if you want to cross the streams and say,
and I already had Primarchs in my life, and I had GW in my life. I had a space marine, a 9-foot genetically engineered monster. So that was also not the allure of Halo, and probably why I wouldn't play it now anyway, because it's just not that there's a substitute GW game I could play that would give me the same feel I'm sure as Halo fans get from playing Halo. But I don't dislike Master Chief. It's just the
For
setting
me, it was Xbox versus PlayStation.
for a while.
That was a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still there, but it's not. It's definitely got blurred.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the titles are across platform now. You know, even
What
I mean, look at Halo. Halo's on PC and Xbox.
Yes.
You got Destiny. When Destiny first came out, it was PlayStation only, but now it's PlayStation and PC.
Yes.
So now these three things are kind of merging.
Yes, and there's cross-play, so it doesn't make a difference as much as anymore.
Yeah.
But I always felt that PlayStation of old had more crossover games than Xbox would have crossover games. I think there was like more games that only like were on the Xbox, and PlayStation would have a game, but then it's on everything. So like, I don't know.
I mean, they had titles. I mean, there was like, you know, I mean, we get into non-FPS games.
There's so many. Yeah.
Yeah, they're you know,
not a Clank and Ratchet guy, but that's only
Crash
on
Bandicoot.
Yeah,
you know,
like those guys. No.
There's games that, you know, we're just talking FPS here.
Yeah, I never.
And, you know, Halo was Xbox. That's
Yeah.
what it was. If you're playing Halo, you play Xbox, and then eventually that turned into Gears of War, as well. Gears of War is another
that is
one.
only there.
That is only on Xbox.
Third-person shooter kind of thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, like some of the guys are making like give Sal control, let him play Halo. It's probably not going to happen.
You could try to. I'm telling you, you could try to multiplayer once it's free,
Yeah,
and you'll suck at it because you know your Twitch muscles they got to develop.
It's
you know how
funny.
that is.
It's funny too. Is like it's like Apex Legends. I was watching guys. A lot of the guys who play Warzone, who get disenfranchised playing Warzone so much, the streamers, the big guys, they're going to like other games. I see guys like Nick Merckx. They got 60,000 people watching him play.
Mr. Call of Duty.
He's watching. He's playing Apex Legends right now, and I sat down and watched him play the other day, and I was like, "Holy subs!" Like it's almost
it's got a little tech in it.
Reminds me of Destiny. Like it's not just you just show up with a gun and you get dropped off.
You have abilities or cooldowns.
Yeah, you kill mobs, they drop resources. You got to craft shit. Like that whole. Don't be wrong, that's cool.
That's the direction they're going in now.
Yeah.
I think that's the next big leap. If it actually probably happened already, is abilities as well, like a character.
Yeah.
That has an ability. You know, very much like the Overwatch type stuff. You know, Halo doesn't really have that. It's still just like a Call of Duty type of thing. You know, I see Phil twitching in the background. This is just make him get a microphone kind of, because I know I could see the halo around Phil's head. He's actually opening up the mic that he's going.
If you could see,
he's
the
going to be
box
joining us in the future because he's back here exploding.
Yes.
And
why does Halo suck?
Halo sucks, Phil.
No.
Worst game I've ever played, which is not true. I actually enjoy the storyline very much, and the multiplayer is fun. It's very arcade-like for me. It's an opinion, right? Things like people like things. I like Battlefield. I like, give me 6 guys, 5 guys. We squad out and we go across this humongous, giant battlefield. I mean, it's a different game.
Yeah, it is different.
They're two different games, right? In Halo, as a matter of fact, I was playing with some of the guys the other night. Buddy, the Enrabler on Discord, Ray, was complaining about the spawn that it takes. Halo is
Rotate spawn?
Well,
like if you're all on this side, you wind up coming back over there.
That happens, and then we were spawning like so freaking far. And this is not Battlefield. Like Battlefield, again, it's about control points. And when you lose a point, you spawn all the way back here because now you got to go across the battlefield to get back in there. But in Halo, it's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be quick hit arenas, control points, capture the flag. And we were spawning so freaking far. I felt like I was in Battlefield.
By the time you get back to the front where the combat's happening.
Yeah, which I get it. I know they wanted to progress because that's in the end, that's what that does. That makes the game come to an end. But a lot of these games have clock timers on them anyway, so why do that then? Especially because I've got a little bit of Call of Duty on the brain. I'm used to dying and I'm back. I'm back. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm right back on. What's the respawn timer on Call of Duty? Not just regular boards.
Like regular multiplayer?
Regular multiplayer.
Yeah, no, it depends on the gun.
Is it 3 seconds? I think it is. You're back?
It depends. Like, it depends on the mode you're in.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes they're very quick, like quick respawn back in. Sometimes it's, longer.
Yeah, Halo, I think it's about 5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah. Like some of the, Battlefield's got the tickers. Sometimes you come right back in, but you're eating up,
Yeah, but Halo's also, it's about the battle and it's about the guns. It's not about everybody. They're all Spartans.
Yeah.
There's no difference, and that's what you're talking about. There's no abilities. There's no, in the multiplayer right now. Anyway, I mean, they might add it. As of right now, it's just about guns and skins and, appearance, that kind of thing. But I mean, the weapons are cool. I've always liked the Halo weapons. I like the Needler. I like their machine gun. I like it. I like the human tech, and I like the Covenant tech too. So, again, it's just something you gotta play. And I know you're not a big Halo guy, so you haven't played.
No, it's not
the storyline.
I really don't know anything about
the storyline. Is the best part about Halo, in my eyes, as a guy that just plays that. I prefer other FPSs when it comes to multiplayer, but it's still fun. So I'm not saying it's not fun.
Yes, but
and it's free right now too.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. We're talking a AAA title that, I mean, obviously the storyline is going to be, you're going to have to buy it, but this is AAA arena type battle and it's free.
That's cool.
So that's really cool.
My biggest problem right now is what old people have problem with. It's called time.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So like my choice is always.
I can only play 2 games. I play 2 PC games at the same time. I can't play any more than that. If I do any more than that, I'm going to suck at it, especially if I'm playing a Twitch game.
Oh no, yeah. I was horrible at Warzone. I've logged in so many hours in Warzone. Yeah. Now I know everything that's going on.
Because you got to put the time in. You got to learn the battles. You got to learn the guns.
But I'm only playing one. It's the only I log on and play 2 matches and I log off.
Unfortunately, I'm not saying that I'm a grumpy gamer. I'm not. I'll have fun. I'll play any game. I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
So I
don't want to be a grumpy gamer. I want more time. Right
now, it's more likely that Battlefield is going to get most of my time because that's just so many fond memories again that I've played in. But the guys in the shop, my kids, we're all I have no problem. What's good about Halo? You can jump into it. And I don't always have to be the best either.
Well, that's it.
As long as I'm having fun with the crew I'm with.
That's you just want to play. I don't care if
we have fun.
I don't want to be top kill ratio, whatever.
It's fun seeing somebody get hit by a freaking truck and go flying. I mean, the crazy things that happen.
That's what is good, that it's a game where you don't have to put in hours like in Destiny, where I got to get to a certain raid level to get into these battles.
Yeah, because you got, especially in PvP, you got to unlock the weapons and find the weapons. Yeah. In Halo, it's right there, just on the wall. Grab it. You walk in, the weapons spawn all over the place, the grenades spawn all over the place. Yeah. You just run around and pick stuff up, and you start blowing each other up. And then the power weapons spawn. I'm getting into the strategy of the game, but when power weapons spawn, those are the big ones. They could turn
damage.
They could turn the tide of a battle. You could be down, 2-1 and a cap the flag. But if your team gets those power weapons,
you can make a push and
you can immediately come back. So that's the the fun of that game. It's different than Call of Duty. It's not the whole drop it into an arena. Call of Duty's attraction the past 2 years has been the Hunger Games kind of.
Well, the Battle Royale has dominated, which started with PUBG.
Yeah.
They just took the PUBG and made it 20 times better.
Yes. And this is going back to classic arena combat.
Yeah.
With Halo. So I'm looking forward to actually playing Infinite when it does release. I think it releases in December sometime.
Oh, this right now is early release only.
This is beta. Cool. This is actually beta. And it's not even, you don't have the full title game. So for a beta, it's pretty solid. There's been some crashes and whatever, update driver. PC,
well, how it is. So many, I got so many working parts.
We talked about if you want it early, guess what? They're using us to test it.
I've seen
that's
that.
what beta means. You're testing it.
I've seen that on Battlefield too, some of the new, like some guys playing it and stuff. And it's like the guys in the sniper rifle zooms in. And you see the guy in the distance is moving
the frame rates get all messed up.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's beta. But if you're not used to this by now, then you haven't been playing on PC.
No, yeah. That's why I don't want.
Or even Xbox. This is a beta on Xbox because the crossplay's there too.
Yeah.
So you're already playing with Xbox players.
Which is funny too.
And I think it's on not just the newest Xbox. It's on, you could play it on
the last edition.
The old ones. I think Zach was he turned his Xbox One on for the first time in forever, and it's taken him a week to just do updates.
Oh yeah, I did that.
He has it turned on.
I did that on my old PlayStation. I was like, let me try Star Wars Battlefront on there, and it was just
3 hours of updates.
And I'm like, oh my god, just leave it alone. I walked away.
Come back tomorrow. Yeah.
But well, cool. Yeah. Well, for all you Halo fans, have fun.
Yeah. We'll buy him an Xbox. We'll buy you an Xbox controller for Christmas so that you can use on your PC. You're a mouse guy anyway. You like the mouse.
Yeah, I'm just playing on the computer.
I'll get your son to start harassing you and see what happens.
Luke, he could try.
He will try. He will try.
He could try.
He will try.
But yeah, and I think that's all the news we pretty much got.
Yeah, Phil's already he's turned 3 shades of red back there. Yeah, we just shit all over Halo. I'm sure.
I think we were a lot better than our pre-conversation. Our first conversation was rough.
Well, and the truth is, I'm just busting his chops, but I do like Halo. So I love the storyline. I'm looking forward to it. Master Chief gets me pumped. He's the savior of humanity.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all about that. The lawful good paladin. He's basically a paladin in space.
All right,
Okay.
now I fucking hate the game. So. thanks. Ruin that fucking thing.
I just game over for Sal. That's
done.
it.
I'm done. Thanks.
Well, he could fall and become the next Vader. You know,
Has he been evil?
he
Has he like turned?
he's had issues.
Okay.
You can like the Arbiter.
To get like the okay,
Okay, all right.
well, that's what I say. He doesn't know.
Okay, so
He doesn't know. He just doesn't.
morally questionable,
Yeah.
superpowered soldiers.
I mean, remember when he has the problem with Cortana? She starts. Oh, okay, you know, there's things that happen. You know, he has because they have AI, very similar to like Iron Man.
and Destiny,
You know,
your
Iron
little
talking,
floating.
Iron Man's talking to
Jarvis? Yeah.
All right, he talks to well, originally it was Cortana, which has become the voice
Which
of,
is your
voice of Microsoft.
the Microsoft.
Yeah, but you can one of the things you could trick out is the way your AI looks,
That's
stuff
cool.
like that.
That's
So
cool.
it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm busting Phil's chops.
Yeah.
The truth is, I do like Halo. So
Cool.
and it's called Halo. I mean, Halo, Paladins, Angels. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you're just
You
burying
see-
it fucking
Oh,
the
I'm
hole
making- I'm
deeper
ma-
on this thing.
I'm making it worse for you.
I'm done.
He's the savior of humanity, the Master Chief.
yeah,
come on.
I mean,
You would love it if you tried it. That's what I'm saying.
Abaddon's trying to save humanity
Oh
too.
my goodness. Here we go.
Archeon wants to save humanity.
All right, and on that note, once again, we'd like to thank our Patreons
Yes.
for their support. We've increased the amount of loot boxes available this coming month of December.
Yes, we're going to be discussing the theme soon. For the
Once
next
we-
box.
We're still hashing it out. I don't want to. We have a couple ideas that are in the works. I mean,
Okay.
we pretty much have the theme, but as to what's in it, you know, we want to.
Well, we won't
know.
we won't do the unveiling until
No, we
towards
don't.
the end.
We don't. Plus, we don't want to spoil it. You know,
Yes.
we want the guys and girls and everybody that buys the boxes to get first look at it before we reveal
Yep.
what's going on. Exclusivity is key here.
Yes, and we'll have some Christmas decorations maybe in the coming weeks.
The festive time of the year is approaching us.
Yeah.
We got some. We'll change the appearance.
Yeah.
We're always
Yeah,
mess
we-
with things.
and we got some cool little GW bling we might be giving away.
Which you wanted to give away? You want to do? We
Well,
want to do it
we're
this
gonna-
episode, or we're
we're-
going to do it next episode?
No, maybe we'll figure out a way to if you leave a comment below and like and possibly subscribe to the channel.
You want to do that this episode?
Well, we're gonna not this episode, but we're gonna maybe in the following episodes,
Okay.
up a few episodes to right before Christmas. We
It's
could do
something we want to try. Maybe every episode have something on the table, and then in the future, if they like and they comment, we can have a
it.
little
Yes,
random.
yeah. Over the course of other Red Seal roundups, we're gonna eventually, if you leave in comments and stuff in there, we'll
Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and you'll have a shot at some goodies.
Yeah, we'll randomize our winner as a little raffle and you get a little pair of Red Gobbo socks.
Paraphernalia.
Yeah,
There's a word I don't get to use often. I love using vocabulary words.
paraphernalia.
Paraphernalia that are placed right next to. Oh, we're gonna have to get a plinth for the table. I like to say plinth.
Oh, for like the
I want to have a. Yeah, we're gonna put it next to the plinth.
yeah. I think you
The
put
paraphernalia will be next to the plinth.
yes. And I think if you put dice on the plinth, it'll
Oh,
people.
well, dice always. I mean,
people
come on.
will
look
just-
look what's guarding the gateway to Red Seal Gaming. Dice.
Dice.
Yes. So, and on that note, thanks again to all the patrons. Thanks for watching. Thanks for
Yep.
tuning in. Keep an eye out. We're making changes constantly, which make things happy. So, once again, I will leave you with a never stop gaming.
Keep rolling dice.
Keep drinking beer.
Delicious beer.
Health one back with me, dog. We should imagine if I had to drink this whole thing.
No,
That'd be under the table.
No.
3 pint cella? You kidding me?
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's actually 2 pint cella.
that's
these
like
days.
a whole brewery right
I
there.
think I'm 2 pint cella nowadays.
Lordy, be on the floor.
I'd be broken and busted, boy.
fine.